Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this Friday edition of Sports Shorts Daily. Ronnie Rants, Tommy Chrysan here with you, presented by LeBear's Casino. TK over at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood, as he is every Friday. And, of course, I am in an undisclosed location presented by the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, and LeBear's Casino is our presenting sponsor like they are for everything sports shorts. Of course, over at LeBear's, there's so much going on. You got concerts and shows and all that, of course, but 18 Steak, the best steak place for anything when it comes to anniversaries, weddings, special occasions, date night. It is an absolutely gorgeous restaurant. If you've never been, fantastic food, but the ambiance is incredible. There's nothing like it in Baton Rouge. And, of course, the Edge Lounge is the place to be for 21 and overs. I got live music Fridays and Saturday nights, starting at about 10 o'clock, going till late night. It's right on the casino floor, great lounge and nightclub atmosphere. Go check it out. It's over at LeBear's. It's called Edge for something a little different for a little date night. Or where we can go dancing? We can go to Edge. All right, TK. We talked yesterday about the controversy going on in the Olympics, about the two gals fighting, and one fought yesterday, the other's fighting today. And we'll get to that. Obviously, LSU football had their first practice. We had a preseason game that didn't end, but it was exciting for 2.5 quarters. They had a lot of scoring, which you don't always get in preseason football. But I'm going to get back to this controversy in the Olympics with the boxing. So more information's come out. The IBA, which is the International Boxing Association, who has had some controversy and some problems and some decisions over there. The IOC, the Olympic Committee, is not necessarily they've taken over control of boxing. It used to be that the IBA would run the boxing at the IOC events. IOC is now running the events because of some problems. IOC not recognizing IBA. They've had some internal issues with their organization. But the IBA, who put on the World Championships in 23, in the middle of the event, not at the beginning, not before, in the middle of the event, Tommy, as the event went on, decided the president of the IBA decided, hey, kick those two out. They did some sort of gender testing. They won't say what the test was. They won't say how the test was issued. But they did say it was not a testosterone test. They didn't draw blood and check the testosterone levels, but they did another check. In my opinion, I bet they did. They went with the old pull down test. Like, hey, drop them. Let's see what you got. But they kicked them out of the competition for the safety of their fighters. But the Olympics, the IOC says what, TK?
Well, I think the test showed that they had the XY chromosome, which means you're a male, okay? And I don't remember all that chromosome stuff. We all learned it a long time ago. But, it's just mind-boggling that this is happening. And I'm going to say what I've said, for many years now. Where are the women's sports activists? Where are all the women who said, we want equal pay at Wimbledon. We want equal pay with the national soccer team. Why are they not standing up saying these women shouldn't even go step in the ring against a man? Okay, and then that may get some attention. And this is getting a lot of attention. Riley Gaines, she's been a big proponent of the women's sports thing. And when Biden changed the Title IX, she's a former Kentucky swimmer, and I follow her on Twitter. I actually sent her a message. I don't expect a response, but I sent her a message. She's speaking up like this shouldn't be happening. This is domestic violence when a woman has to quit after 46 seconds because she's never been hit that hard in the face in her life. Trained all her life, was out of box, in the memory of her late father or grandfather, and then she had to quit. She's the hero, okay? And I don't know how the Olympics can go forward with the other man boxing against a woman today. I don't know how they can do that, but if they do, what's it do to the image of the Olympics? For all Olympic athletes, some that have nothing to do with boxing.
There's been tremendous furor in the last 24 hours against the IOC to allow this. They are hiding behind rules that have already been on the books. Can't change them in the middle of Olympics. And
yes, you can. You can if you have to.
They're saying that this is terrible. What the reaction by everyone towards these fighters and what they're having to go through on social media, and what's being said about them is so awful. Well, it's a ridiculous. This is where the lack of common sense has just left society, right? I mean, it just doesn't exist anymore in society. Not in sports, just in general. This shouldn't even be a conversation. There should be anything to talk about. This is also the kind of thing that should be like, wait a minute.
Don't forget Sports Shorts Radio tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. to 12 noon, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. We'll be live and in color at Calandro's Supermarket on Perkins. Ronnie Rance and I will have a bunch of guests for you. Joel Davis will make an appearance. That's tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. to 12 noon, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. We'll be at the Calandro's Supermarket on Perkins. Do come out and join us.
I was saying, it's just ridiculous how just common sense is gone. This shouldn't even be a conversation. This should be an obvious, they're gone. That's a dude. And if someone were to challenge or sue or whatever, whatever, whether it's the judge or a board or some committee, you throw that out too. You're just like, this is ridiculous. We're going with common sense. No, they're out.
Well, it tells me they don't have common sense. If they had common sense, they would stop this. Okay, today they wouldn't let this other guy fight against a woman.
The other guy, by the way, the other guy, gal, is a 2-time world champion, and her weight class at 128 or something like that, whatever. This is the topic I'm going to continue to follow. I'll be curious to see if other female boxers decide to get into the ring, or will they just all forfeit? And that's a hard thing to do, right? You're at the Olympics. You probably think as a fighter, I'm willing to die in the ring. I'm willing to do whatever. But I mean, do you have a shot? Do you have any chance against these dudes? I mean, I don't know. It's going to be the most interesting thing to see, because obviously they're fighting. It's a question of whether those girls, other ladies, will decide to get in the ring to fight these guys or not. All right, so we move on. TK, yesterday, Simone Biles wins the all-around gold medal championship. She's now helped United States. She's anchored the championship for the team. Suni Lee and Biles take home medals in the all-around. Biles with the gold and Lee with the bronze. Is greatest comeback story ever. I mean, I know you and I were critical of her, like a lot of people initially when it came out that she dropped out of the Tokyo Olympics a few years ago. But now that I'm more educated on what was going on with her, I've watched the documentary on Netflix about her, and which was following her at the time. I mean, you literally saw, Tommy, on the documentary, conversations between her and her mom, literally when she got off the mat in Tokyo, like right then and there, and the decisions and why, and you're hearing the coaches talk to her and all that kind of stuff. And now you realize, hey, that was it was the right thing for her to do. She had a case of the twisties. She couldn't figure out where she was in the air. And it was something that had started prior to and got worse and worse and worse. And she was fighting it, and all of a sudden just couldn't do it. And everyone in the sport, everyone they interviewed, everyone that talked about it, all the former gymnasts everybody gets to take a case of the twisties at some point in their career for a stretch. You just don't know when. And she had it, unfortunately, during the Olympics. But her comeback story, when she had no reason to come back, right? She was the greatest gymnast ever in the history of the sport, history of the United States. But she chose to come back and just stamp her greatness at almost 30 years of age is incredible.
Yeah, she's 27 years old. That's an incredible story, and she'll go down as one of the greatest Olympian athletes in history. And throw all the sports together, especially the individual sports. And she's had like 5 or 6 moves named after her.
Right.
That right there separates her from all the great gymnastics, all the previous ones who did great things. I mean, it's just she's different. She's just better than everybody. Kind of like Michael Phelps was better than everybody in the pool. She's better than everybody on the mat and on the ball, etc.
It's amazing how far gymnastics has come, the education of the sport, the style of the sport, the way they train the sport since 40 years ago, Mary Lou Retton. I was a 12-year-old 40 years ago when Mary Lou Retton was the star of the LA Olympics, and of course went on to be on the Wheaties box and parlayed that all-around gold medal that she won in '84. And of course, there was no communist countries back then, which they were the big dogs in the sport. So it was a little bit tainted, but the United States was, a goal's a goal's a goal. It was on our home soil. They didn't compete in the '80 Olympics, so it'd been 8 years since an Olympics. So like people didn't care, but for what she did back then, and to where that sport is coming, you look at the styles and the vaulting and all that. I mean, Mary Lou Retton doesn't finish in the top 10 anymore. And that's how sport is. I mean, we know it progresses over time, but it's really incredible the transformation of the body types and everything like that in the last 40 years of
the athleticism. The difference is the athleticism. All sports, people are just more athletic, and especially when you get to the Olympic level. Simone Biles, with all due respect to Mary Lou Retton, is 10 times the athlete Mary Lou Retton was, or more. I don't know.
Right.
That's not just an arbitrary number. But then again, you look at all the sports and the athleticism and the physical development, and it goes back to the training, and I think you and I and a lot of people watching this show, gymnastics world grew for us because of Dee Dee Bro and what she did at LSU gymnastics, and then what Clark has taken over since, and they win a national championship. We all 15 years ago, 20 years ago, we didn't even know LSU had a gymnastics team. We knew they had a team, but we didn't spend any time finding out about it. And I think that helped me learn more about gymnastics because I'm been living in Baton Rouge forever and got to see that growth. Just like Skip Bertman grew baseball around the state of Louisiana, from Little League through up to the other colleges in the state. So, gymnastics is an amazing sport, and it's tough, and it's such a thin line, and it's so arbitrary. It's not like who's got the most points on the board. It's that panel of judges that says, hey, 9.8, 9.7, or here's a 10. I mean, so there's a little bit of arbitrary, kind of like balls and strikes in baseball. It's not a finite thing, but no, she's one of the greatest ever.
Well, the thing about gymnastics, which is a lot like ice skating, right? Two things. One, I mean, because of LSU, I care and pay attention to gymnastics more. I go to a gymnastics meet every once in a while. And I say once in a while, I mean like once every couple of years or so, right? But I'll watch and I pay attention. If LSU's competing for a national championship, I'm going to watch. And
I watched that whole 2-hour meet. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, so I'm more educated on gymnastics than I was 5, 10, 15 years ago. But I think back to where LSU gymnastics was when my daughter, who's 24 years old, when she was little, so I'm thinking back to 16, 17 years ago when we went once a year when they had the pink out, which was the Brady James, who played linebacker at LSU in the early 2000s, went on to play for the Cowboys in honor of his mother who had breast cancer. He sponsored it and was involved with them, and they had a pink out game, and I think either for $1 or they were free, and you made a donation at the arena or something, and there would be 6,000-7,000 people at the PMAC, which was like, oh my God, look at this giant crowd, 6,000-7,000 people for gymnastics, and they would raise money and all that stuff. And now they get, sold out, 12,000 people for gymnastics, at the meets, which is incredible. But at the games, or 10,000 or whatever the number is. So the sport has come so far. But the thing that makes it so interesting is they tell the judges, okay, look, this is the move I'm going to do. I'm going to do 3 somersaults, a twisty thing, and, blah, 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 a reverse triple side cow, whatever. And then they go do it, and then the judge sees, oh, they didn't do 3, they only did 2, and oh, they didn't do the twisty, they did a turn. And so, they're able to see all that. We can't, we don't know. And so they're able to see, oh, she cut it short, she leaned forward, and then they judge. It's one of the hardest things to do has got to be being a gymnastics judge, no doubt about it.
I don't want to try it.
beyond just your own opinion of the move, or did they take a step forward or back or not. You've got to be able to know what they were going to do and what they ended up doing, and see the difference and know the difference. It's high level stuff. What else is going on in the world of sports outside of the Olympics?
You had the NFL exhibition game last night, and the big story was the new kickoff rule, okay, which is pretty confusing, and they've already made some changes to it, and this is a one-year thing, so that's not guaranteed that it's here next year. But last night there were 8 kickoffs, and the game got called off in the third quarter, but there were 8 kickoffs. 7 of them got returned, which is what they wanted, was more return action. Probably the biggest drawback of the new rule is you can't do a surprise onside kick. You have to announce. In other words, the ambush called by Sean Payton for the Saints at halftime in the Super Bowl, that's not going to happen again. Okay, and I didn't see any of the highlights of the kickoff. I heard Dan Patrick talking about it this morning, but 7 of the 8 were returned, and one got to the 26-yard line. There was nothing like, ooh, he almost broke it. Nobody broke it, and there was only 1 touchback. So that's going to continue to be a thing, and I'm sure if you tune into the Saints a week from tomorrow at Arizona, but it's confusing. It's one of them things like, what? Nobody knows how they come up with the world golf rankings. Well, nobody knows this kickoff rule. Even the coaches, some of the special teams coaches have even been quoted, the guy in Green Bay saying, we've got to change this already. We've been doing this in practice. And then one of the kickers tried to lay the ball sideways on the tee, like a whip kick thing. And that's against the rule. You can't do that. You have to have it vertical. So it's a lot of attention on a small part of the game. But last night, a very small sample size, 7 of the 8 were returned.
TK, I've got to jump off. I've got a Zoom call with Breck about Pete Goolsby Field, trying to do some things for the Rougarou over there at the stadium that I got to make right now. But tomorrow we'll be back. Sports Shorts Radio will be live over at Calandro's on Perkins and Segan. Looking forward to that. I'll see you in the morning, my friend.
Sounds good. All right, and don't forget, here at Tremonti's, we got everything you need for the weekend: meat, seafood, wine, liquor, bourbon, tequila, vodka, sausage, 20 different flavors of sausage, all your side dishes. Get the baked beans here. There's an original recipe on the baked beans. You need to try that. Everything you need for the weekend: shrimp rolls, ribeye rolls, Chapman's preserved steaks, Wagyu steaks. You got it all here at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood, Jefferson Highway in Baton Rouge. Come check them out. If you walk in here and see all they got, you're definitely going to come back. Don't forget Sports Shorts Radio tomorrow morning. Hopefully you can join us, and like and share this video, like and share this show. That's what helps make things go round and round. On behalf of Ronnie Rants, I'm Tommy Christ saying have a great day and weekend, everyone.